Namaste. Okay, so we are talking manifestation, the Vedic way, and all the hype behind manifestation techniques. I'm looking at what I really want to cover in this video, and I'm already thinking I may need to record this in parts. I'll try not to, because this topic, manifestation, deserves more than a 10-minute take. And I'd rather split it than rush through something that took ancient civilizations thousands of years to understand. So if you're watching part 1 right now, please don't miss the rest. If there's going to be a part 2, because here's what we're going to get into together. Why the popular version of manifestation doesn't work for most people. And why, when it does work, it may not be because of the technique at all. What nature, actual nature, Prakriti, has to do with every single thing that happens in your life. And why no amount of human will can permanently override it. What every ancient culture understood about this. The Vedic understanding of manifestation, which is not about getting things, but about becoming aligned with something. Aligned with something so much larger than what you want. And a real practical framework for knowing when to push hard on your desires and when patience is required. We're going to cover all of that. The last part is the one that I care about the most, because it tells you when to act and when to surrender. I think that's the thing that's missing from almost every conversation about the topic of manifestation. So, let's start at the beginning. In 1937, Napoleon Hill published the book Think and Grow Rich. It became one of the most read books in human history, marketed well and pushed to every aspiring capitalist. And what it told the Western world was essentially this, that if you have a burning desire, if you hold a definite goal in your mind with enough intensity, the universe will conspire it for you. And decades later, the movie The Secret arrived, and it simplified things even further. Think positive thoughts. Feel the feelings of already having what you want. And watch it appear magically. The secret. Now here's what I want you to notice. For every person who says manifestation worked for them, there are thousands of people it didn't work. And the manifestation gurus never explain that gap, huge gap. They just say that you weren't believing hard enough. They'll say that your vibration wasn't high enough. They'll say you had limited beliefs that's blocking you. In other words, when it fails, the failure is always your failure. But what if the teaching was never complete in the first place? What if it borrowed fragments of something ancient and profound and packaged them into something that could be sold in an airport bookstore? Look, here's what I believe. The people for whom manifestation worked, most of them were in a natural cycle in their life. A cycle that was already moving in that direction. The techniques didn't cause the results. The results was coming anyway. And the technique gave them the confidence, I agree, to act on what was already available to them. Okay, I agree. Confidence does matter. Taking action matters. But it's not what they think it is. And understanding the difference changes everything about how you live. Before we go anywhere else, I need to establish one thing that almost no one in the manifestation circle is willing to say. You are not the most powerful force in your reality. The Vedas are very clear about this. They call it Prakriti, the primordial material nature that underlies and governs all of creation. Every atom, every cell, every seasons, every birth and every death, every planetary cycle, all of it is Prakriti, nature. Nature moving according to its own intelligence. And here's what important to understand about nature, or we call it Prakriti. It operates through three fundamental qualities called the Triguna. Triguna: tamas, inertia, stillness. Tamas is rest, dissolution. Rajas, which is activities, movement, passion, change. And Sattva, which is clarity, balance, harmony, light. Every moment in nature and every moment in your life is governed by a combination of these three things. When tamas dominates, things kind of slow down for you in your life. Things rest. Things dissolve. When rajas dominates, things start moving in your life. Things build. Things complete. And when sattva dominates, that's when clarity emerges, understanding emerges. Things settle into the right place. Now here's the thing that no manifestation guru ever puts in the book. You do not choose which guna is dominant in any given season of your life. Nature, Prakriti, does that. You can influence it through your practices. You can work with it, but you cannot override it indefinitely through your willpower. Let me give you an example. Think about the country of Dubai. In the middle of a desert where the temperature outside hits maybe 115 degrees, they built an indoor ski slope. Yes, real snow, real cold. People skiing in the desert. And it works. I've been there. It works as long as the electricity never stops. As long as the money keeps flowing. As long as the machinery never fails. The snow machinery. The moment that infrastructure goes down, the snow melts. Because you cannot override what Prakriti, nature, intended for that part of the world. Forced manifestation is the same thing. You see, you can create conditions that look like what you wanted, that look like your desire. You can hold them together with will and money and tons of effort. But if it's not the right season for that thing in your life, if Prakriti, nature, is moving in a different direction, the maintenance cost of holding it eventually becomes unbearable. Can't sustain it. When the resources give out, the snow melts in Dubai. The Bhagavad Gita speaks about this. Krishna tells Arjuna that all action is carried out by the gunas of Prakriti, is carried out by the quality of nature. People deluded by ego thinks that I am the doer. The ego believes that it's manifesting. The wise person understands that Prakriti is moving. And the wise person has learned to move with it. Nature does not produce snow in summer. Nature does not produce heat in winter. And your life, whether you accept it or not, is also moving in cycles. Now we know that a wise farmer does not curse the winter. He does not write his harvest goals on a paper and visualize spring into arriving faster. He reads the season and he prepares for it. And when the right time comes, he plants. Everything that follows is built on that understanding. Now, here's something that always makes me wonder. every great civilization on earth, every ancient culture with any depth to it, had a system for working with forces that were larger than themselves. The ancient Egyptians called it Heka, H-E-K-A, the magic of authoritative speech, not just words or positive thinking, but they used sound, breath, and focused attention, used it together as a force that works with the living fabric of reality. The shamans of South America, they didn't manifest by affirmations or thinking hard. They moved, they sang, they danced. They used plans and ceremony to balance the energy, within themselves. In the Vajrayana tradition of Tibetan Buddhism, masters use mandalas, mudras, and intense visualization. They used it to dissolve the sense of a separate self that wants and grabs and fears. The Stoic of ancient Greece practiced negative visualization, mentally visualizing difficulty so that gratitude and clarity could come naturally. The Hermetist, they taught as within, so without, as a law of consciousness. Do you see what none of these traditions put at the center? The individual ego and its desires. None of them said, think really hard about what you want, and the universe will bring it to you. Never said that. They all understood that there is something vast and intelligent at work, and that the role of the human being is not to command that force. It's to align with it. See, the modern law of attraction came from the new thought movement somewhere around the 19th century. And while it pointed at something real, it stripped out almost everything that made these ancient systems work. It left us with the mental layer that told us that was enough. It's not enough. And the reason it is not enough comes from the Vedas. The Vedic understanding of manifestation is not what most people expect. Because in Vedic wisdom, the fundamental problem is not that you're not manifesting enough. See, the problem is that the very machinery you're using to manifest, and that is your mind. The mind is itself not a pure instrument. The Vedas describe the human being as layered beings, like a series of sheaths, like one inside the other. See, the outermost sheath is the physical body. Inside that, the energy body, the Pancha Kosha. inside that, the mental body, called the Manomaya Kosha. And inside that, the wisdom body, Vijnanamaya Kosha. And at the center, the Anandamaya Kosha, the body of pure bliss, closest to the nature of your soul itself. See, popular manifestation works only at the mental body level. But the Vedas teach that the deeper layers, like the energy body and the wisdom body, are far more powerful than the mind, the mental layer. And if those deeper layers are carrying grief, old wounds, unresolved karmas, conflicting energies, the mind can repeat affirmations from now until the end of time, and the deeper layers will override them every time. And this is why manifestation doesn't work for most people. It's not because they lack belief, because the belief is only at the surface. And the current underneath is running the other way. So, what is the Vedic path? It begins with Ritam, R-I-T-M in Sanskrit, the cosmic order. Rhythm appears in over 400 hymns in the Rig Veda. It is a principle that sustains everything. The principle, the rising of the sun, the turning of seasons, the movement of stars, and even the moral rhythm of human life. The Atharva Veda describes Ritam as the divine order of the universe. See, the same order that released the sun from darkness, the same order that set the rivers flowing. And what the Vedas teach us is this: when you align your intention, your action, and your inner state of rhythm, you stop swimming against the current. And when you begin to move with it, you're not forcing anything here. You don't have to demand anything here. You're not even visualizing like a car in the driveway. You are moving with intelligence that is already moving. The practical practice in the Vedic tradition to manifest moves in steps. Step 1 is Chitta Shuddhi. Purify the mind. Because a chaotic mind cannot hold a clear image, cannot focus. The first work is not intention setting. The first work is cleaning the instrument, mind. Meditation, mantra, removing what doesn't belong in the inner space. The second step is called Sankalpa, a soul-aligned intention. Now you see, Sankalpa is not a goal. It's not an affirmation that you repeat in the mirror. You see, Sankalpa arises from dharma. It comes from your life purpose. It goes deeper than what the ego wants. The difference is this: wanting a luxury car is a desire. But Sankalpa is feeling a deep pull, say, to heal your family, for instance. Sankalpa is to build something that serves more than yourself, to leave something behind that matters. That's Sankalpa. And a Sankalpa aligned with your dharma carries the force of Prakriti behind it, force of nature. Because you're not asking for something outside the cosmic order. You're expressing the cosmic order. The third step is called dhyana, which is meditation and feeling. Not just imagining an outcome, but sitting in the emotional reality of the person who lives that life. The fourth step is called mantra shakti, sound frequency. The Vedas are not primarily just a philosophy. They are a technology of sound. Every mantra works on layers of consciousness. The bija mantra, seed sound, plant vibrations at the energetic level of the pranayama kosha, the layer that mental techniques can never reach. This is why the ancients put intention with mantra. The fifth step is called karma yoga, action without grasping. See, the Vedas never taught to go after passive desires. The Bhagavad Gita's most famous instruction is not think about what you want. It is, you have the right to your actions, but never to the fruits of your actions. It says, act fully, act with everything you have, but release the grip on how it has to turn out. Release the grip of exactly when it turns out. The sixth step is Ishvara Pranidhana, surrender. This is the step the Western world is almost completely incapable of, because you see, everything in the Western culture says wanting something badly enough means to hold on tightly, ownership. But the Vedas teach just the opposite. When you release a desire into something larger than yourself, when you trust the intelligence of Prakriti, of nature, to deliver what is aligned, in the timing that is aligned, then you remove the single biggest obstacle to what you're trying to create, which is your anxiety about it. The Kalpa Vriksha, the wishing tree of the Vedic mythology, is described as a tree that grants all wishes. And the teaching around Kalpa Vriksha, it says, the tree, the Kalpa Vriksha, exists within the purified mind. When the mind is clean, focused, and at peace, the surrounding environment naturally begins to reflect the inner state. I want to take you somewhere that might stretch what you think is possible. See, there is a tradition in yogic wisdom called the Siddhis. These are capabilities described in detail in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, powers. One of the Siddhi power is called Prapti, the power to transfer or obtain anything from anywhere, where intention manifests without the delay of cause and effect, immediately. Many of you have heard the miracles of Sai Baba, the vibhuti appearing in his hands, the physical healings, his presence in two places at once. Whether those accounts move you or not, the mechanism the tradition describes is worth understanding. And it's not something separate from nature. It is nature functioning at a depth most of us never reach because we remain attached to the surface. The Vedas teach that matter itself is simply consciousness vibrating at a slower frequency. And when a consciousness becomes completely unattached from the drama of material existence, when the ego self fully dissolves, what is left can work directly with the fabric from which matter is made. Most of us are nowhere near this. And the Vedic tradition is absolutely clear about this. But it matters to this conversation because it shows us what becomes possible when consciousness moves in the right direction. See, the practices we use, mantras, meditation, surrender, work on the same spectrum. It's just an earlier phase of it. See, I want to be honest with you about something before we get to the practical part. The Western approach to manifestation is almost entirely organized around desire. The big house, the ripped body, the money, the relationship. Desire as the destination. The Eastern approach, and the Vedic path in particular, sees the situation very differently. The Upanishads say that desire, karma, is the chain that keeps the soul returning again and again, returning to the wheel of birth and death. The chains that tie you to this wheel of samsara are your desires. Look, not desires are bad and you should feel guilty about it, but desires are the very mechanism of this cycle. Every fulfilled desire creates the memory of fulfillment. But every unfulfilled desires create the pain of lack. See, both keeps you coming back. So the Eastern tradition says the real work is not to manifest more desires. It is to slowly dissolve the grip desire has on you. Now, these two approaches sound like complete opposites, but I don't think they're opposites. I think they are at different points on the same path. Most people who find spirituality find it because a desire pulled them forward. The desire of material life, for healing, for desire for meaning, for something that actually works. So there's nothing wrong with starting there. The Vedic tradition does not say that desires are sinful. There are no sins. It says to pursue them within your dharma. Live them without grasping them. For most of us living in this world, working, raising family, paying bills, for us, there's a middle path. And that middle path is the knowledge of seasons in your life. Vedic astrology, Jyotish, is not fortune telling. It's a map of your karmic blueprint, seasons, the patterns you arrived with, the cycles that govern when things in your life are meant to open and when they are meant to rest. The Vedas teach that karma is not just action and reaction within a single lifetime. It's a current that runs across lifetimes. You arrive carrying 3 types of karmas. Sanchita karma, the entire accumulated weight of all of your past actions across lifetimes. Think of it as the full account. Prarabdha karma, the portion of karma, that account that has been activated for this lifetime. This is what your birth chart reflects, the conditions you were born into. The broad strokes of what this life will contain. Then there's Agami karma, the new karma that you create through action, through your choices in this lifetime. This is where your free will actually lives. Now, most people doing manifestation work are using their Agami karma. They're using their present choices and intentions to try to override their previous prarabdha karma. And sometimes it works partially, sometimes not at all. Because what prarabdha karma has written is more like the bed of the river than the surface of the water. You can redirect the current, but you cannot move the riverbed through just desire alone. What you can do is work with the timing. And this is where Jyotish becomes not just interesting, but genuinely useful. See, the central timing system in the Vedic astrology is called Vimshotri Dasha. It's a 120-year cycle divided into planetary periods called Mahadesha. And each Mahadesha is governed by a different planet. And each planet carries a completely different quality. For instance, a Jupiter Mahadesha is 16 years. It brings expansion into your life. Wisdom. It brings opportunity. You see, when Jupiter is well placed in your chart, this period opens doors. Things that you have been working toward begin to arrive with very less resistance. The Venus Mahadasha, 20 years, it also brings abundance, relationships, creativity. The energy is soft and magnetic. Things come toward you. A Saturn Mahadasha, which is 19 years, brings structure, discipline, and the burning away of what is not built to last. Saturn is often experienced as a resistance in your life, as a weight, as delay. But Saturn, in Vedic wisdom, is a great teacher. It is asking whether what you're building is built on real foundation. The Rahu Mahadasha, 18 years. Rahu brings intensity and ambition, and Rahu brings disruption. Things move fast. Illusions can rule your mind. They pull you toward, and it pulls you toward a very strong worldly experience. A Ketu Mahadasha, which is 7 years, and Ketu pulls you inward, toward detachment, toward the spiritual. It often feels like things are falling away with Ketu. But what Ketu is doing is removing what is no longer aligned. Now think about this practically. If you're in a Saturn or Ketu Mahadasha, and you're trying to force rapid expansion by practicing forceful Western manifestation techniques. You're trying to grow tomatoes in January. The frustration is not a sign that your vibration is wrong. It is a sign that you're fighting the wrong season. The Vedic tradition gives you what no personal development book has ever given you. The Vedic tradition gives you the permission to stop fighting the season. You see, during a challenging Mahadasha, the guidance in Vedic is to surrender, is to reduce desire, is to go inward. Do your practice, and then trust the cycle will return. But during a supportive Mahadasha, like a strong Jupiter or a Venus period, that is when you push. That is when you put everything behind your Sankalpa. The same effort in the right season produces 10 times the results. The same effort in the wrong season produces 10 times the frustration. The Vedas teach us that when we act in the way that are fundamentally out of alignment with our dharma, when we force things that are not meant for this lifetime, we create new karma. Every unnatural action in nature, Prakriti, creates a reaction that must eventually be absorbed by you, either in this life or the next. This is why Vedic wisdom does not say, chase every desire with maximum effort. It says, know what is meant for you. Work within your dharma and hold the rest loosely. So, here's a framework I want you to take with you. First thing is to understand your season. Find out what Mahadasha and Antardasha you are currently in. A Vedic reading can tell you this. Jupiter, Venus, and Mercury Mahadashas tend to be periods where worldly effort is supported. When these are active and well placed in your Vedic chart, that is a time to act on your manifestation desires with full will. That's a time to launch, to build, to invest. That's a time when manifestation actually works. But Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu Mahadashas tend to be periods of inner work, patience, and surrender. Forcing and grasping during these periods will cause far more than the returns. The wise response during this cycle is preparation. Preparation so that when the season turns, you are the farmer who already has seeds in hand. The second thing is to know the difference between Sankalpa and your desire. So, sit quietly, ask yourself honestly, what do I want? And why do I want it? If the answer involves proving something to someone, or filling an emptiness that has been there for a long time, or competing with someone else, then that is a desire. There's nothing wrong with that, but that is a desire. But building your life around your desires can and will get frustrating. And if the answer feels like something you were sent here to do, something that serves more than your own comfort, then that is your Sankalpa. Put your whole energy there. The third thing is to purify the instrument. The mind is the tool. And if the tool is scattered, anxious, polluted with resentment and comparison, it cannot hold a clear intention. Just 10 minutes of mantra, 10 minutes of stillness. Whatever brings your mind back to its own clarity will do. The fourth thing is act when the season is right and surrender when it's not. This is the most practical instruction I can give you, and also the hardest one for most people to follow. When life is moving, move with it. Put everything behind what you're building. But when life is resisting, do not force. Shift your energy inward. Study, rest, time to practice, time to heal. See, the resistance is not your enemy. It's Prakriti, nature, telling you that the ground is not ready yet. Now, the fifth one is to release the form. You see, you have a picture in your mind, a picture of exactly how this is supposed to look like. You desire. And that picture may need to change. The Vedic understanding is that Prakriti, working through the cycles of karma, is often moving you toward something better than what you specifically asked for. But you cannot receive what is coming if you're gripping so tightly to the picture in your head. And surrender is not quitting. See, surrender is trusting the intelligence that built the seasons. The next is, sixth one is to measure peace, not outcomes. This last one takes a little time to understand. Because in the Western model, you measure manifestation by what appears materially. In the Vedic model, the real measurement is peace. Are you peaceful when things go well? Are you equally peaceful when they don't? Because the person who holds that inner steadiness, regardless of what the outer world is doing, that person has stopped being a prisoner of cycles. And you want to know something? That is the person who tends to attract the most remarkable things. And with the least amount of struggle. This is what manifestation actually is. Manifestation is not a technique you do to the universe. Manifestation is a relationship you develop with the universe. The ancient sages did not teach these practices so that you could get a better car. They told them so that you could understand what you actually are and stop living in friction with that. You're not separate from Prakriti, separate from nature. You're not separate from nature. You are made of it. And when you stop trying to command it, when you learn to read the seasons, when you learn to align your will, to act when it's time, and to rest when it's time, your life does not become horrible. It becomes something you never could have imagined. You never could have imagined by desire alone. Namaste.